you go. Very good. Thank you for your patience with everything. Just takes a little bit of time to get all of these things going together. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to our open forum this evening. It'll be from 6 to 7:30 p.m. John Hoops will be doing our testimonial tonight. I think you'll find it just a wonderfully enjoyable experience. May I also add that I'd like to encourage all of you to keep on sending your loving energy to our people in public office. It's a very, very difficult time to be in public office. I just want to give you my encouragement just to do your very, very best in sending your energy into the ethers. So with that in mind, I think we're ready to go this morning. Welcome aboard. Good to have all of you. Let me just begin by saying what a continuing joy it is for me to explore the raising of consciousness with you. Notice that I said with you. None of us lives in a vacuum. None of us live in separation. None of us are all by ourselves. This view is very nicely presented succinctly in these words: no person is an island. Even when you think you are, you aren't. None of us are totally separate. We all exist interdependently. We are all one mind in one web of consciousness. Very important for us to understand that. The importance of raising our consciousness was the theme of our teaching 2 weeks ago, when I focused on what I consider to be the most important thing we do each day, namely, to be in the God presence each moment of each day. We're capable of doing this. It just takes intention and attention. And then last week, we addressed the issue of making sure that we don't allow things to stop us. And we'll talk about those things that sometimes stop us. But for right now, it's very important to realize that we can be in this natural state of being in the God presence. It's not only what we can be, but it's really what we want to be. And if you think about it and you ask yourself, well, why do you think the divine put us here in the material realms? I hope you would say that, well, we are here to bring heaven to earth. We are here to bring awareness to the planet. And then last week, as I mentioned, you recall those two things that have a tendency to stop us from being in the awareness. The first one, namely, comparing ourselves to others, especially getting lost in the allurements of the world, where we think we have to keep up with the Joneses or with our neighbors or with anyone else. And then that very difficult barrier of conditioning, how we have been taught in life. Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements calls it domestication, how we have been domesticated by those four great conditioners of family, society, religion, and nationalism. I believe that we are now ready. I believe that we are now ready to focus on today's teaching, namely, what inspires us? What inspires us? What propels us? What moves us to move into this presence of God is our daily God spirit. And let me say at the beginning that this will be a series of teachings. I'm pretty enthusiastic, I hope you are, knowing the beauty of that great presence within us and how we can be consciously present in manifesting it. A word of introduction as we proceed. I will be presenting these thoughts from a fifth dimensional consciousness point of view. Let me repeat this. I will be presenting these thoughts from a fifth dimensional consciousness point of view. I believe we're ready for this. By the fifth dimension, I mean that state of consciousness that you are in when you see yourself, feel yourself as an aware soul. That means that you have made the shift. You have made the shift from seeing yourself simply third dimensionally, namely as a physical body, personality in the world, to seeing yourself as a conscious, eternal soul and living in conscious connection with the God Spirit that is within you. Let me be very clear. We are so capable of this, knowing that we are that individuated presence within and connected to the God Spirit. This is where we're heading. This is how we're able to bring this viewpoint into the evolution of our species. Now you might ask, well, what happened to the fourth dimension? Well, the fourth dimension is that state of consciousness wherein you decide whether to revert to the old reactionary tendencies of fear and separation in the third dimension, or whether you proceed in your freedom to explore the fifth dimension, where you understand yourself as that eternal soul, happily engaged with the God Spirit in bringing heaven to earth for the joy of each other and of all others. I believe that you have made that decision. You do see yourself as a conscious, fifth dimensional soul connected to your God Spirit. You have made the choice, as have I, to see ourselves as this conscious, eternal soul connected with our God Spirit. And it is from this awareness that I will make the following remarks of what inspires you. What inspires you? Being conscious of yourself and connected. May I suggest the following? The first thing that inspires us as an eternal soul is the light that we have within us. Let me be clear by the term that I use of light. By light, I mean a conscious knowing. A conscious knowing. And this conscious knowing has two parts to it. The first part of this light is that fifth dimensional conscious presence. That fifth dimensional conscious presence. And by this presence, what I mean is that you are continuously aware of an inner illumination. Just take a moment with that, right where you are, that you are consciously aware of an inner illumination. This illumination is a knowing that you are the God presence. This illumination is a feeling that you are the light of the God Spirit. It's like the statement that is often used at the conclusion of the Unity Church service where they say, "Wherever I am, God is." Your I am has become God is. Let me say it again. Your I am has become God is. You know this. And you feel this. Sometimes you can't believe that you know this energy, but you do know it. Your I am has become God is. It's not a boasting. It's not an arrogance. It's just the truth. Where your soul presence is, conscious. God is conscious. Your soul presence has become the God presence. The God Spirit has become your spirit. Again, this is an illumination. It's a knowing. It's a feeling. And you are growing this in this illumination. While it is a process of growing in the illumination, it is a progressive process. Make no mistake about it. You are more and more becoming the God illumination. You and I, we are becoming the God illumination. Our I ams are becoming what God is. Let's address the second part of this light. Beyond simply the illumination, which is very important, the light is also a clear understanding of universal principles and values. It's a clear understanding that we have universal principles and universal values. By universal principles and values, what we simply mean is that there are certain principles and certain values that apply to all situations in the universe, but especially they apply to our daily lives, in our daily activities. Examples of such principles are the following. First, the law of attraction. You know it. The law of attraction simply states that whatever you focus on, whatever you bring to your awareness, increases. You have come to know this, especially as you have released lower third dimensional fears and anxiety, because you have brought your conscious attention not to them, but because you have brought your conscious attention to the God Spirit. You continue to experience that universal law of attraction. It's quite an accomplishment. When you focus on your fifth dimensional, conscious, connected self, the other things have a tendency to fall away because you don't focus on them, because you're focusing on the God presence that is within you. It's fundamental. It's the law of attraction. Whatever you give your intention, namely the God presence is you, and then give your attention to it, functioning this way daily, then the law of attraction takes over. We're doing this. Releasing what doesn't belong and growing in what does. Secondly, the second principle is the law of deliberative choice, which means that you are free in consciousness to create the reality of your life. In fact, it's not just that you are free to create your reality, but you do create your reality, whether consciously or unconsciously. There is no one creating your reality except you, and you know this now. But where you have advanced in the law of deliberative choice is in this way. Your advancement now is that you are guided by your soul's illumination in your connection to the God Spirit to create your life by following the inner promptings of your soul spirit. This is your advancement. This inner guidance is responsible for the confidence that you feel, that you know what you're doing, because you have taken the time to seek and follow your inner guidance. Doubts, uncertainties, misgivings, and people-pleasing no longer enter into your decision making. And the responsibility that you must take is taken by you with no more second guessing. You are guided by the intuitions of your soul, and you feel the certainty that only such guidance can offer. Is that not true? You're guided by the intuitions of your soul connected to the God Spirit. And with that certainty, we go confidently through the movement of our lives. The third and very important universal principle is the law of allowing. We all need to be attentive to this law. The law of allowing states in a nutshell that just as you are free to create your reality, so is everyone else free to create theirs. The law of allowing is so very important when it concerns the lives of others, especially in these two ways. First, it releases you from judging and criticizing the behavior of others when they exhibit third and or fourth dimensional behavior. It releases judgment from you about their behavior. Even when such behavior may be attacking you, you just realize that many people are still caught. They're stuck. They're still self-victimized. They're still self-victimized by old behaviors that you no longer are. Even when such behaviors may seem to be hurtful to you, you have the fifth dimensional soul stability to realize that that person's behavior is coming from that person's old third dimensional self. Thus, you are able not to judge them, not to criticize them, just adding to their woes, but to be able to be understanding of where they're coming from. More about this later. Secondly, and so very importantly, the law of allowing relieves you of the false notion that you are responsible for the soul growth of others. Yes, I'll say it again. The law of allowing relieves you from the responsibility that you're in charge of the soul growth of others. Just as you realize that no one is responsible for your behavior, you also realize that not only are you not responsible for another's behavior, but also that you cannot be responsible for their behavior because you understand that every soul is creating its own reality, just as you have. In simplest terms, you are not here to fix others, nor to save others, even your children, because each soul is on its own journey. This doesn't mean that we cannot assist others, but as we assist others now, we assist them from their soul's perspective of encouraging them to take charge of their lives, rather than trying to tell them what to do from our perspective. You're beginning to help them to see from their perspective, not yours. What a relief, not only for them, but also, of course, for yourself. Again, may I remind you that such understanding comes from your soul's fifth dimensional awareness. Let me now address universal values. Again, I'm talking about the values of universal consciousness, and I believe that there are two that are worthy of note. The first such value is the felt reality of oneness. Notice I said the felt reality of oneness. It's easy to accept the concept that everyone is one universal energy, but it is quite another thing to feel such oneness. In the simplest form, oneness means this felt presence not only within yourself, with the divine, with nature, but also with everyone else. Before you deal with anyone else's behavior, you feel a sense of oneness with them. This doesn't mean that you're a doormat for others. It doesn't mean that anything goes, but rather that you are bringing your soul's sense of oneness to the situation. And because of that presence of your soul awareness, you do the appropriate thing that the situation calls for from your soul's awareness. This is such an important thing for us, to be soulfully present, to do soulfully what's appropriate for the other as well as for ourselves. And as you do this, following that universal principle and value, you begin to feel that you're beginning to truly follow the command of Jesus, to love your neighbor as yourself. Even when they don't seem to be interested in what you're doing. That oneness is still there. The second universal value that you begin to experience is what I would call a felt sense of love. Again, notice that I said a felt sense of loving. Not just that you should love everyone, but from the fifth dimension of illumination, you do feel that you want to love everyone and everything, from wanting to hug a tree to wanting to hug a fellow shopper in a supermarket. You just feel loving. This feeling of loving takes shape in one of several ways. These are a few. First, you begin to look for situations in which you can express your love because you want to. You look for kindness situations. You like to be kind. The oneness calls you to be kind. As one of our members said last night in our weekend enrichment, when you are kinder, life is easier. When you are kinder, life is easier. Secondly, oh boy, this is a big one. You are able to de-escalate third dimensional situations just by your presence. It's not just that you bring the God Spirit, but you are also able to hold it. You are also able to hold it. Even in trying circumstances, you do not cower. You do not back away. You do not become overly anxious, but rather you stay present and you do what is appropriate. We are doing this. We have to keep on helping each other to do this. And thirdly, you bring understanding to people and in situations where judgment, criticism, and gossip often held sway. You just see everyone having a soul experience, even the criticizers and even the gossipers. And again, you simply do what the fifth dimensional soul spirit guides you to do as appropriate. We are doing this. As I conclude this teaching on illumination, there's much more that I want to say. Subsequent teachings will focus on this inner light of yours and raise it into your expanding radiance. That'll be for next week. But for now, notice the shift that you have made. You no longer get your knowledge from the world around you or from people around you, but you have shifted. You have shifted to an inner light. This inner light is your fifth dimensional permanent self and is enabling you to take your rightful place as a conscious co-creator in the universe. Oh, did I mention that you seem to be calmer, see things more clearly, and happier? We are doing this together. We have advanced together, and we will continue to advance together. It's wonderful to be in a soul connected to the divine family. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let us begin as we normally do by simply focusing on the breath within us, and to focus on the breath consciously, to allow it to settle ourselves physically and mentally, and to bring that inner self to the fore. Please begin. And would you just now say to yourself, oh, here I am. Here I am. Just here I am. And would you also say, I'm fully conscious. I'm fully conscious of the inner me. I'm fully conscious of the inner me. This is my soul self. This is my soul self. Now, would you just say it again? This is me. This conscious inner presence, this soul awareness, this is who I am. And again, would you just say, this is my conscious presence? When I say I, well, this is who I mean. It's me. It's my soul self. And now would you find that place where you have your connection to the God Spirit, so that when you say, this is me, you are now saying, I'm connected to the God Spirit. The Spirit of God and I are connected. Only you can find that place. It is the most important place to find. Take a moment and be conscious of how you are one with the God Spirit. Now, this is very important. In your conscious awareness where you are right now, where you are consciously aware of the inner you, your soul, and your connection to the God Spirit. This is what we mean by the fifth dimension, where you are consciously one with the God Spirit. Please take a moment now to feel this, digest it. This is the fifth dimension from which we are now operating. Now, would you just notice how good you feel? Now, would you just say to yourself, I am here in the world to create heaven on earth, to bring the God consciousness into everyday living. Would you just say that and mean that? That's what I'm doing. Now, without opening your eyes, would you just tap your leg, your knee, your thigh, and say, oh, I have a body. Yep, I have a body. This is my vehicle that gets me around in the world. It's like my car. It takes me where I need to go. It's not who I am, but I sure need it to operate in the world. And then would you just take a moment to realize all of the life circumstances you have, relationships, finances, organizations, life situations. And would you simply then say to yourself, I'm going to deal with them from my fifth dimension state of being. I bring heaven to them. It's not rocket science, just clear. I bring heaven to them. One last moment again. This is my fifth dimensional consciousness. I am consciously aware of my soul self, and I'm connected to the God Spirit. I am a soul spirit. This is how I will now operate.
Deep within, peace resides, faith abounds, and love abides. The light shines bright to illumine love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. When you are where you need to be, within that space, I honor thee. Seen through eyes an illusion, seen through spirit, we are one. I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor
Let me just say again what a joy it is to be with all of you here this morning, particularly what we're doing this morning, identifying the fifth dimensional sense of self. This is the most important thing we could possibly do. What a wonderful opportunity. And just to see all of your names on the screen, what a joy that is for me. What fun. Thank you, dear Myra. Thank you to everyone. Namaste.